Hey there, so today's been a pretty fun day for all video game aficionados out there. We have three big major presentations slash live stream trailers that have been announced today. We have two coming out tomorrow and we have one for next week. So the two that are coming out tomorrow are going to be the final trailer for The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. And then we also have a Sony PlayStation State of Play that is 20 minutes of Final Fantasy 16 gameplay. And then next week we have the final big marketing push trailer for Street Fighter 6. Now, these are the three biggest games that I'm anticipating this year. These are the games I'm the most excited for. So when I heard the news about this, I was through the roof excited. I just wanted to sit down and talk about some of the things that I'm excited for, some of the things that I want to see, and just overall how excited I am for these games. But before we get into that, do me a favor, you guys. Like the video if you like the video. Please consider subscribing as it does help me out tons. And with that, let's get into this video. Alright, I wanted to kick things off with Tears of the Kingdom. They have their final trailer showcasing tomorrow. And pretty much ever since I saw the first trailer for Tears of the Kingdom, I was pretty excited for it. I didn't really need much convincing to go out and buy this game, just because I played Breath of the Wild, and this just seemed like more Breath of the Wild, which it's gonna be a banger no matter what. They can't really do anything wrong with this game. I will say they have had trouble convincing me that this is the next big, huge step for Link, and I don't think it really has to be that though. I feel like people are anticipating that. People want to feel that next big step. But I feel like there's no way we're going to ever really experience that next big step again. At least not for a really long time. So I think people need to temper their expectations a little bit. With all that being said, there are a couple things that I am really excited to see. Nintendo announced that tomorrow's final trailer is going to be roughly 3 minutes, which is pretty much in line with the same marketing that Breath of the Wild had 6-7 years ago. Their final trailer was roughly 3 minutes, so I went back to rewatch it just to see if I can get any kind of expectation, just so I could see what they might be showing us tomorrow. And pretty much from what I gathered, the Breath of the Wild 3 minute final trailer was just a bunch of random cutscenes with showcasing some of the story, showcasing some of the world, some of the characters, some of the combat. But it definitely showed a very minuscule amount of what was actually in the main game. So I feel like they've already showed us some of the Sky World, they showed us some of Link's new abilities, and a little bit of story, as well as some returning characters and some new landscapes. But obviously this game is going to be huge, and there's tons more they can show us, like how does this Hyrule different than the Hyrule in Breath of the Wild? Is there shrines? Is there going to be dungeons? Are we going to have the Divine Beast return? Is there going to be any new skills? Does he have any of his old skills? There's still so many questions left, and I want them to leave it at that. Hopefully tomorrow's final trailer is just a quick compilation of some random cutscenes that are going to loosely explain the story, but more than anything, just give us more questions. Like, if you're gonna show us the Master Sword, show us the Master Sword broken or in looking different. Show us Hyrule in a complete different environment. Show us the underground. Show us something that we can't immediately say, oh, I know exactly what's going on. I want them to leave us still in the dark, still leaving room for us to have that feeling that there is so much more left in this world for us to discover on our own, because that is really what made Breath of the Wild so special. But yeah, overall, I'm very excited to see what the final trailer is going to look like. I feel like 6 years later, we're going to look back and have great fond memories of this trailer, so I'm very excited. But they definitely don't really need to show us any more really of this game, especially with it coming out in about a month. I'm just overall excited. I don't know what they could really show us that is going to convince me that this game is going to be bad. Just because I already know that pretty much this game is a lock. It's going to be a banger. It's going to go down in history as one of the best Legend of Zelda games. Definitely one of the best sequels to a game ever. Overall, very excited for this one. Alright, I feel like, so Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, we know virtually nothing about, and I'm excited for that. On the other hand, Final Fantasy 16 is a game that I've been hearing about non-stop. I feel like I know so much about this game already. From the overview of the story, to some of the characters, to the combat, to the world. They've showed us so much. that it kind of concerns me when I hear that they have a whole Sony state of play of 20 minutes of just straight up gameplay from Final Fantasy 16. Just because I know Square Enix is someone who loves to spoil the endings of their games. They're a company I trust to make good games, but they're also a company that I don't trust to market their games properly. So I don't really think I need to watch 20 minutes of Final Fantasy 16 gameplay, just because what I've seen is enough. They showed us an hour of like the world and combat in already at PAX East. So again, I don't know what much more they can show us about this game, but overall I'm very excited for this. If they were to show us anything, I think newcomers into Final Fantasy looking into this game are pretty hyped about this. But some of the old heads, some of the people who've been with Final Fantasy since the NES or Super Nintendo or even the PlayStation aren't really convinced that this is a Final Fantasy that they want to hop into, especially not on day one. So if you're going to show us anything, Square Enix, about Final Fantasy 16 tomorrow, you need to show us something that's going to prove all the naysayers that this is, matter of fact, a mainline Final Fantasy game, and this bleeds Final Fantasy through and through. Show us some more chocobos, show us some party members, show us more icons, show us something that's going to definitively say to all the naysayers that Final Fantasy 16 is the next big installment into Final Fantasy, and we're going to look back on this one just as fondly as we look back on Final Fantasy 7 or Final Fantasy 6, and we're going to be able to say that this is a worthy addition to the storied franchise. Yeah, overall, I don't think this is a game I need to see any much more. I'm already properly hyped for this game. I'm still going to watch it. I'm still going to see what else. Hopefully they can show us something new, something that I can use to convince some older people that this is going to be a good Final Fantasy game. But yeah, hopefully they don't spoil too much. Alright, finally, on April 20th, we have the last final breakdown of Street Fighter 6. They promised to show us some new combat and some new modes. And I feel like for this game, it is a very interesting one just because I already know what to expect from at least the gameplay mechanics of this game. So earlier I did play the closed beta, and this is a phenomenal fighting game. I don't want to speak too early, but this is probably going to be my favorite Street Fighter's game of all time, and probably one of my favorite video games of all time. I'm so hyped for this game. This is another one that I don't really need to see much more, but there is tons more that they can show us out of a Street Fighter 6 presentation. Like show us more of the World Tour mode, some more of the customization of the characters. Show us if there's gonna be some kind of story into this game. There is a lot more that they can show us of Street Fighter 6, and I am thoroughly hyped for this one. I don't know exactly what they have planned for us, but I'm all in for whatever Capcom wants to show us. Capcom is another company that I trust without a doubt, knows how to market their game, knows what to show us and when to show us, and it's just been such a uphill climb for Street Fighter since they announced Street Fighter 6. I'm just so excited and so hyped for the amount of people that are hyped for this game. With all that being said, the one thing that without a doubt I want to see, and Capcom must do this, is release an open beta before the game is out. I want to see this game with everyone possible playing, test their servers, stress test it as best they can. I just want everyone and anybody to pick up Street Fighter 6, feel confident in what they're doing, and hopefully this is a great new entryway to the next renaissance of fighting games. And this is just one of the hardest type of genres I feel like to break into, and I'm hoping that Street Fighter 6 can be the new gateway for tons of non-fighting game players to hop into and get excited for. But yeah, I know overall these are three wildly very different games that appeal to three different markets. It's just really cool because these are the three biggest games that I'm most hyped for this year. To see the announcement of more information has got me super excited. Well, with that, I'll catch you guys on the next video. See you guys.